Okay, so we're positioning the corals in the tank, taking into account light and taking into account current, and also taking into account aggression, potential aggression. Now some of these corals will send out sweeper tentacles that will swing around in the water and exhibit aggression by attempting to sting neighbouring corals. And these sweeper tentacles are quite a bit longer than the normal tentacles of a coral. And that's the way they maintain their territory and stop other corals from invading them. In this tank, quite an aggressive coral is that Galaxia coral down there. And you'll notice he's well positioned away from other corals so that he can't do any damage to them. So that's another reason why you might need to actually move some corals in the first couple of weeks of setting up, because the other complication of this is, of course, the tentacles extend in the direction of the current. So you can safely put some corals with short tentacles reasonably close upstream of ones that have longer tentacles, but you've got to look out for putting corals too close together when they're downstream of a coral that can have long sweeper tentacles, because the tentacles will drift with the current, come down and sting its neighbouring downstream coral unless you're careful about its placement. So there's another dimension to working out where to position the corals. It's coral aggression, it's light, and it's current. Also there's some that need to be on the bottom, like the Fungia coral down there is down on the sand substrate. You'd be most unhappy if we perched him up on a hard surface. So that's another consideration, the type of position that you put them in. Now they all need to be stable, because you need to take into account that the current will tend to catch some corals when they're fully inflated and possibly move them around. So you've got to rock them so it's a matter of patience and fiddling to get it right. And it's worth spending time on, because especially in a deep tank, because it's a bit of a hassle trying to pick up the corals when they fall off, when they're out of arm's reach in the tank.